From Riverdale Studios, Sioux Falls, this is a comic book look.
Hi everyone, welcome to a Comic Book Look, your weekly comic book show. We talk about anything in the comic book industry. You want it, you got it. My name's John @Pumpkinface, aka Pumpkin Pie of all things lovely in comics, aka Digital Don Juan, aka the comic book Hugh Hefner pimping those issues. Ow! Ow! Over here to my farthest of left, we have co-host Tom Extraordinaire, aka Highlander, and check out that koozie.
Yeah.
What in the world? How awesome is that? What is up? In the middle here, we have cameraman extraordinaire, tech god, call him the Hercules sometimes of all things with circuitry. Anyways, you guys, we're rocking it out here. We're issue 65, kind of just getting over that hump of realizing that we're at an old age now in our show, and just going to keep rocking it out till the wheels fall off for sure. How's everyone doing?
Fucking great, guys. Internet, good to see you again. I've missed you. I actually went on a trip to Texas this last week, and that was bomb.
Ew.
As you guys know, we hail from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Riverdale Studios represent. And I got to trek on down to Texas, the Lone Star State. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Don't mess with Texas.
It was damn fun. I went all the way down to the Gulf and had some great seafood and saw some cool things. And my cousin shot a wild boar on my uncle's land, so that was bomb. 200-pound boar, so that's
gotta be a big one here in Texas.
Yep, and
yeah,
I got some redneck family. He brought his AR-15 with him.
Whoa.
When he drove from his small town in Minnesota to Texas for my cousin's wedding. But yes, it was awesome. Irish Catholic
What's a wedding
wedding
without an assault rifle?
Yeah, exactly.
You're done.
And it was bomb. So yes, I have been up to no good. Yeah. And I drove to Texas from Sioux Falls, so it was 20 and a half hour ride. And we drove straight through, a couple drivers, and it was bomb. So I got a little comic book reading in, which is good.
Nice. Do it. A little study time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we have an action-packed show for you.
Absolutely. You know, guys, we've been really
things in the mix.
Yes, exactly. we've been really kicking. You know, this show is just what we're doing, how awesome it's been. We've really been kicking that rating in the balls lately. We really kind of stepped it up. I'm really proud of our great debate episode, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Had a blast at that Halloween episode by tackling just a mountain.
Plus, just a fast
and a diversity of
Speaking of
books.
which, Halloween's over.
What?
It's done.
What are you talking about?
We need to
Oh, my God, John.
What?
shed the jack.
Halloween is over. I didn't even look over here because Skyler's fat face was in my way. And
It's the nose, mostly.
take that goddamn mask off.
All right.
Halloween is over.
Here's my normal face, you guys.
There it is.
There it is.
That's better.
Right.
Yay.
Oh, God. I was hoping we were going to leave him in that mask the whole show.
We should
You
have
would too. Sure. Guys, what? Anything different about me? Not
You notice
scripted at
anything
all.
different? You did your hair.
But to come around what John was saying, yes, we have been doing a lot of action-packed, crazy cool, concept shows with the debate, a fat stack of comic book look, the Halloween show.
What
and
a crazy
so,
month.
yeah, it's been super fun. So we're just going to bring it back to the
roots.
Exactly. Skyler's now a staple of the show. So now instead of just two guys on the couch, it's three guys on the couch, and it's pretty bomb that way. And we got
we sacrificed elbow room, but we've increased the quality, so it's all good.
Some people think that.
Let us know how you feel about our feature shows we've been having recently. We had really enjoyed the debate show.
Yeah.
So if you guys had as much fun with it as we did, we're going to try to bring out some more things like that. It's a lot of fun to do those kind of things.
Yeah, but it's like, are we the only people who think it's funny? So let us know if you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes,
Maybe.
yes, indeed. We are going to actually talk about comics today, believe it or not.
Surprise!
So we got a few different topics. As you may see, there's just a new match made in heaven right here.
Oh, isn't that cute?
That we'll try to just touch upon.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we have a viewer email, right?
Oh yeah, hit up
viewer mail.
Boom.
You've got mail.
Absolutely.
Mail time.
One of our
Mail
faithful viewers, Sergeant America is his new thing on IMJ. I saw.
I saw it too.
Mr. Mike dropped me a line here, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. John, I was just reading a comic and realized we talk about writers and artists, but sometimes I see inker, penciler, colorist, color assistant, lettering, etc. Could Comic Book Look take us to school and give me, and maybe others, info on what some of these mean?
Sure, yeah, I mean, and we'd love to.
Yeah.
Right?
I think they're just trying to be like movies and put as many names in the
they
credits
just need
as
the
they
long
can.
credits.
Rip. Nobody knows who that is. Just put this guy's son's name down.
It looks more important if you have more names.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that is not the case. These people all work very, very hard. And without all those different things, you don't get a comic book. When you think of a comic book, usually when you're younger, you just think of artist. You don't even realize another guy's writing it. And then when you get older, and by older I mean like 11 or 12, you realize, oh, some guy's writing this. And then, after that, you just kind of mostly worry about who's writing and who's drawing it. But lettering has a huge, thing to do with how the flow of the book goes and how it actually, the storytelling works out. Coloring, I mean, so much mood can be brought in coloring, and coloring can be, essential for most comic books. And then inking. A lot of artists, they have they have to get 22 pages out in a month, and they don't have time to ink themselves. So we can kind of go over what some of those things mean.
Can I just throw something in really quick? You guys, I just did 2 interviews on my sideshow, Comic Book Look After Hours. So, on behalf of all the creators, I do have to disagree with your initial statement of it takes all these people to make a comic book, if you will. Because sometimes you just have a one-man show.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
And sometimes you don't need this or that or the next thing. Maybe there's a book out there that's all pictures, no text, and so forth. So, just a political input.
That is very true.
And sometimes you get a much better book out of that because you don't get clogged up with, then the letterer wants this dialogue to change because he doesn't like the way it looks because of the text he chose.
But I think that maybe we can change that statement to comic books that come out in the frequency of what we buy on a monthly basis. Because when I talk to these guys, they're like, yeah, this one took me a couple of years. This next thing. So maybe to make these things happen more quickly, but to kind of tackle some of that quality, then we need all these people.
I should have definitely been more clear because when we talk about these things, we're mostly specifically talking about monthly comics from the big publishers that have to come out monthly and are on a schedule. Sometimes not even the creator-owned ones that they can take time off. I mean, they do have these positions, but let's look at like a DC book that needs to come out and see how many people work on that book. Yeah. Where John's exactly right. I mean, there's people have amazing comics online, web comics, and different ways to accessing those in indie comics where they're doing everything. Writing, drawing, inking, coloring, lettering, editing, publishing, and that's a feat in itself. And when one person takes on all those other roles, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but in order to get it done in the time frame that they've got it, the big 2 mostly, you get basically this Ford model industrial complex where, it's this guy has this job, and it's an assembly line fashion.
Yeah, it totally is. So, I mean, we'll kind of go through the production of, I think by just going through how a comic book is produced, you will kind of understand where all these people come in. So, normally, I'm just going to kind of give you a rundown. A writer comes up with an idea, he presents it to an editor at the publisher. Then the editor maybe would tell him some different ideas that he needs to either add in that's going on with other books or that needs to be in line. So then the writer has to, figure that out, and the editor can change what the writer's and is saying, and then they have the final product. Then they would send that script to the artist. And a lot of times an artist, I would consider somebody who does pencils, inks, and colors they're all artists. Right. So that could all be 3 different people. So
and even the writer is an artist.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's, we'll say pencils. Some people ink their own work, some people color their own work. But for this, we'll say you send the script to an artist who is just a penciler. He would then do the 22 pages in pencil. And when he gets a few pages done, maybe he gets 2 or 3 done at a time, then he'll send it to the editor, send it to the writer, and send it to the inker. The editor and writer will make sure it fits with them. Then they will okay it, and then the inker will put that pencil, but in the olden days they would put the pencil down on a light box, another piece of paper on top of it, and ink over it. Now it's all done digitally. I mean, usually you don't have to have the original pencils to in order to ink. Yeah. You send that file over digitally. They digitally ink it, or they ink it with, by printing out the pencils. And then that person that's where we see the black lines. So like when we read a comic, you see specific black lines, and a lot of people play with black. Sometimes the lines are thin, but that's something you would always see. And then so that inker, then after he inks that page, he then would send it to the colorist. The colorist, he probably sends it to the colorist and the letterer at the same time, because the letterer could probably get it going. A letterer can work faster. They can do a lot more comics, where inker can do a little bit more comics than a penciler, and a penciler can do 1 comic, a month is what I'm saying. And so like a letterer will probably can do 10 comics a month. And so they're getting in a bunch of different pages, and they get in that page that is fully rendered with color, no dialogue. They get the dialogue, and they have to fit the word balloons. And so what a letterer does is he figures out where the word balloons are going to go, what font is going to be used, if it's going to be bigger, littler, if it's going to change fonts with the character, and that can also come in from the writer as well if they ask for that. And I mean, people take lettering for granted, but just think of when you read a comic. The flow of how you're reading that is so important, and where your eyes go to the next one, what feels naturally. When you have some big splash page and there's bubbles all over and it's not lettered well, you can totally tell, because you're like, where the fuck am I supposed to read next? When it's really lettered well, you can tell, this is where I'm supposed to go. And, all of these people play a different role. Whereas in that writer has to have the whole thing written out, and as soon as those first couple pages, you have the rest of these people working on inking those penciled pages, and that penciler has to keep on penciling. So it's an ongoing process where all these people are working together to produce a comic book in 1 month. Yeah. And where sometimes you see co-inkers and co-things is when somewhere in the step something goes wrong. Yeah. Someone doesn't get on time.
Somebody got behind on the schedule.
The writer's behind even. I mean, it's not always the artist's fault. The writer's behind. He's not getting his pages in. So then it flows up everything.
And then when you've only got the last 5 days to ink it, one guy can't ink it, you got to put 2 on the job. Yeah.
And then you get
same thing with any of the jobs, really.
And I almost feel that when that happens, the more people that is added to our credits list, like we were talking about, the worse.
Yeah. Well, it gets so clogged up, because then this guy wants to change this little bit, and this wants to change this little bit, and it goes from this story that the writer had in their mind to the story that the editor wanted out of the pitch that the writer gave him.
Yep.
So.
And I mean, there's it's so many people are working on this comic to bring it out a month that you don't even realize it. But where, I mean, the best comics, you have writer, artist, letterer, and I think that is the best way to do it. Some noteworthy people that do these things that I feel that are top legends of our comic industry is, Todd Klein. I mean, nobody letters like him. As soon as he letters a book, it's amazing. He's never done anything half-heartedly. His panels are always perfect. I mean, he should run a school on lettering. But I mean, I think everybody knows that, who would pay attention. You would see that all the best books get Todd Klein. And Todd Klein gets to handpick his books, because, I mean, if he's like, oh, this is going to be a new and interesting book, he'll be like, yeah, I'll letter it, and nobody's going to be like, no, we don't really want you, Todd Klein.
Sorry, Todd Klein. We're going to go with somebody else on
Yep.
this one.
And on the same page as that is coloring. I mean, there's some amazing colorists out there where you put them on the book, it almost doesn't matter even what the art was anymore. They take over, and they can control the whole storytelling pitch, and that is Dave Stewart. He's amazing. He does all the Hellboy, plus just tons of other. But he is one of the best he is the best colorist in the industry. Him and Todd Klein, I mean, I'm sure they're just sitting on Gold Throne somewhere, just thinking how awesome they are because they are. And
It's a hard life right there, man.
But I do feel like some people, maybe in the comic book industry, don't even know those names, which is crazy because you don't pay attention to your letterer or your colorist. But I can tell you that if one of those two names is on a book, I mean, it definitely changes the quality and brings it up.
Dumb question for you with the digital editing part of it. Don't hit me, viewers. When they do like the inking and stuff, do they utilize for the digital aspect? Do they utilize like the bamboo tablets with the pen, whatever?
A lot of them do, like
like brand things. Or
yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different things.
Okay.
Some people will have their monitor right here on their computer, and then they have their drawing monitor, which is down, and they can draw right on there. Nice. Some people use a mouse still, and can do it right on Photoshop. And they're digitalizing it with a mouse. Yeah. And where some people will take the pencils and just play with it in Photoshop until it looks like inking. Yeah. Where others will just, take their pencils, scan it, like somebody who's doing their own inks. Usually what they would do is they do their pencils on a piece of paper. Then they would scan that piece of paper in their computer, and then they do their inks on their flat, monitor that they can touch. Nice. And then they can color right on there and everything. Nice. And that's usually how it's done these days. But some people draw straight into Photoshop. I mean, that's where they start, and then, there's never an actual piece of paper. But then you lose out on selling your original art later. Yeah. So, yeah. That is, in a nutshell, I mean, that's what a pencil or a letter, a inker, a co-inker, editor, writer, artist, I mean, they're all part of the process, but those are all the little ones that you see and you usually bypass in your, or some people don't read that at all. I mean, I didn't know that some people don't even read in the title screen who wrote and drew it. I mean...
That was me, 2 months ago.
Yeah, I just remember, I was like, oh, you saw who wrote this? John, before we're not very far in the show at all, he was like, I never read who writes or draws it.
I was all about the characters, But as I start to meet these people and visit with them and have them sign my books, it's like, it kind of does matter,
It totally does. Yeah. And I think, as you can watch maybe our previous shows on creators versus characters.
I'll probably say exactly that, and I don't care.
But yeah,
a lot of people are the same way with movies, too, though. It's more as you mature as a viewer or a reader in this case. Yeah. You kind of get a taste for, I really like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Yeah. But I'm not such a big fan of Rizzo when he's working with him, something like that.
Dude, that movie's gonna be sick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
When is it? Is it already out or is it coming out?
It comes out this Friday.
Dude,
Arnie's coming back.
Tom, we should totally go.
Yeah. Well, I have to work on Friday. But anyway, we'll go. Thanks for getting into my personal life, internet.
Sorry.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But yeah, I can't. Sorry, John.
Okay.
Let's plan.
We should do it. Yeah.
Anyway, yes, so that inking, lettering, whatnot. Yeah. Now what's next on our agenda?
Yeah. Actually, I did have one other thing, too.
Okay.
As we investigate all things comic book, we have an interesting opportunity coming up 60 miles south of us.
Oh, yeah.
We're hoping to go to it. We haven't really looked at tickets or nothing yet, but...
We are going.
We're told, November 16th or 17th or something like that.
It's an exciting bit. I think we should keep it a secret.
I think we should. Yeah, don't Google anything.
We can't tell them.
It wasn't in Sioux City, I lied.
Yep. That's fine, but I think that's it. All you need to know is we have a very, very special event coming to you at the end of November.
I'm going to try to find a ruffled shirt.
Completely different from anything we've ever done before.
By far, yeah, definitely very different. Yeah. So super excited for that.
Good idea, dude. I'm such a jerk. I shouldn't have said that.
It's okay.
All right.
But anyway, I think we should move to our next topic, which is the talk of the town. As you know, we are comic book show that is relating to anything in comics, and somehow me and John have just assumed that Star Wars is definitely relating to comics.
Not anymore.
And we talked about Phantom Menace. We had an episode on it when they came back to the theater. Me and John hated it, and we were just
so stupid.
Yeah, we knew that was happening.
So after that low happened, we got another kick in the nuts today.
Yeah, on the 30th.
Oh yeah.
Is when it came out.
I heard about it today at work because everyone was talking about it. Yeah.
So, LucasFilm has been bought out by Disney for $4.05 billion. Yeah. Episode 7 of Star Wars will be coming out in 2015. All original story. George Lucas only as the creative consultant. This comes as a pretty big shock to me. I really didn't think George would do this.
I feel betrayed.
I mean,
I'm
I felt
surprised.
I felt
You didn't think George Lucas would do this to you after he's sold out with episode 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, just like in the in that movie.
How is this a shock?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's just like all of us. He saw that paycheck, and he went running.
Dude, but like
Would you sell Comic Book Look to Disney?
for
$4.5 billion? Fuck yeah, tomorrow.
But we couldn't even dream.
But
on
if
the
I
show.
had George Lucas money, and I own Star Wars, not a fucking chance I would do that.
Well, but he's already shit all over Star Wars anyway, so
Yeah, he totally
what's
has.
he got left to do with it?
But all I have
He
to
ruined
say,
it.
well, he shouldn't have sold it to Disney because Disney already owns all of Marvel,
Yeah.
all of ABC,
Yeah.
all of fucking everything, and now they
They're like
need
the
to own all the
Skynet.
Indiana Jones characters and Star Wars characters. That's
Skynet
fucking
of comic
bullshit.
book stuff.
I know. I can't wait to have Jack Sparrow fall into the next Star Wars movie. It's gonna be fucking stupid as shit, man. And you know these movies are gonna be Pirates of the Caribbean generic.
Well, you know what I'm worried about though with that is that these movies are after the other ones, so it's gonna focus on like the solo kids kind of thing, like some of those characters. And you know when that comes into play, it has so much room for more Jar Jar, LOL Kitty moments and stuff. And I don't want
there will
that.
be tons of it.
I
It's Disney.
Why are you cheering for that, Sky?
Because you know what Disney won't do? Disney won't destroy the Star Wars we
It's
already
already
know and
destroyed.
love. Not if you find it on VHS. That's the only way to get the real Star Wars.
Wrong. Torrents Laserdisc.
Okay, or you can be an internet pirate.
Yeah, you
but
can-
We do not advocate illicit
We don't
or
advocate
illegal
that
activities
unless
on a comic book. Look.
only in this specific instance do we very strongly recommend you download the torrents for the Laserdisc versions of the original versions of Star Wars. The only true ones in the best quality, because you get Laserdisc. It's better than the VHS burns. So yes, this is how. This is the only time I'm giving you permission to download the torrent. But I think because of that, George always said he wasn't going to release the originals again. But now that it's in Disney's hand, we might actually get the originals on Blu-ray.
So, because there is a huge demand for it, and people email Disney,
And
send
people-
them the most hate mail you can possibly.
Han shot first.
Yeah,
Real simple as that. But yes, I mean,
complain. Maybe we'll get the originals
But
back out
I'm-
on DVD.
I'm just also. I understand, they bought Marvel and they haven't touched Marvel Studios. They've let Marvel Studios do their thing,
yeah.
and they actually have been doing amazing things. They bought Pixar. They let Pixar do their thing. They've been doing great things. But the biggest problem I have is giant evil corporations owning everything.
Yeah.
I mean, why should these people own everything?
Turn into Apple.
And $4.5 billion is Episode 7 will make at least $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's not counting merchandising.
Yeah.
Episode 2 will at least make $1 billion. I mean, Episode 8 and 9, and they're going to continue from there. I mean, it's like, I think $4.5 billion or 4.05 is cheap. I mean, I think they bought Pixar for more than that. Yeah. And I think Star Wars is a bigger
Do you
brand
think we
than
could
Pixar.
maybe be in one of the films?
We might be able
Can
to.
you imagine us in the back like,
Here's the one big problem I have with it.
Okay.
Is they're keeping George Lucas on as a creative consultant. Get him out of there. Kick him out the door. Thanks, you're fired. Bye.
I don't know, man.
oh man, so
Didn't
much
just shut it
Oh.
down. Didn't just shut it down.
Exactly.
Oh, George,
Exactly.
no.
Shut it
I'd
down.
rather have never have another Star Wars movie.
Release the
than
originals and publicly execute someone dressed as Jar Jar Binks.
Oh,
That
Yeah,
would be great.
exactly.
That would make my day.
Oh God. I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix documentary, "The People versus George Lucas," but our Inveterate Media Junkies' very own and Jose Melendez was actually in that documentary when they showed him on the CCW. Him and Elliot Serrano from the old CCW
Nice.
TV show and comics, and they had a little quick clip, but it is very funny, and there's a really good line where he's like, "Oh, George Lucas, I love hate you so hard. I love hate you so hard." And that is how I feel. So I feel like I still want him on creative consultant because I think he, I don't know. I feel like there's still maybe that 25-year-old who's inside that 68-year-old
Vessel.
gullet of his. and possibly wanting to break out and give us a great story again.
Pretty spiritual, you guys.
No, I'm with Pat and Oswald. Where if I could build a time machine, I would go back to after the first 3 Star Wars movies and kill George Lucas with a shovel.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he did bring us Jar Jar Binks, which
exactly.
it's unforgiven. I mean, it can never be forgiven. But yes, still, I think it's bullshit. I think it's utter bullshit. I mean, John, what do you think about this?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's complicated. You know, they didn't touch Marvel Studios, but now we have that horrible Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man show on, which maybe the younger kids like it, but for me, it really ruins my day when it comes on. Like, the Avengers show is not bad. You know, it's fun. And it's got a storyline and addresses a lot of characters, which I kind of dig. But the Spider-Man one just makes me want to throw up in my
Hipster
mouth.
emo Spider-Man is not.
Yeah. Well, this one's just
No, this is
dumb,
the kiddie
funny.
version. This is the animated
Really?
version, and it's
Oh.
like
Yeah,
it's.
the movie.
I
we
mean,
don't
it's
even
for
want to talk about that
it's for
anymore.
6-year-olds. I mean.
Yeah, like I watch it, I'm just like, this makes me feel stupider every time I watch it.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely not the demographic in that show.
No. I just, yeah.
But yeah,
I don't. But you know, the only thing about Star Wars I can say, because that's all I really care about, are the books right now, and they rock. So I know he's not writing them.
yeah,
He
and
probably just signs on the dotted line.
and he,
Yeah.
but they did. I read in the on CVR today that this is going to be all new material. They're not going to take after the Dark Empire. They're not going to take after the those famous books in the novel series that take place like 5 years after.
Oh.
None of that is going to be addressed in these movies.
Oh.
So they estimate that it'll probably be like 40 years after Jedi.
Okay. Well, there's books out there too.
Yeah, oh,
The
totally. Well, I
novels,
mean, there's
yeah,
books
it's
at the
ridiculous.
beginning until the end, but
Yeah.
they're going to try to stay away from anything that's happened in the novels,
Thank God.
anything that's happened in the comics.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
We could end up with a Spider-Man musical style where we're just not going to touch anything related to this issue and make our own movie about it.
and see, that's what I'm afraid of. I mean,
See,
I'm just afraid of I'm just afraid that they're going to try to please so many people. It's going to be Pirates of the Caribbean generic, where I actually kind of liked the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, but the other
I saw the rest. I couldn't even fucking tell you what any of them were about.
Yeah.
Because it's so
They don't
generic.
leave an impression.
Yeah, and we're going to see so much more of this Jar Jar Binks, this catering to an imagined crowd that is the people that they think are watching Star Wars. What you don't realize is most of the people that are going to be really excited about it in 2015 are going to be in their 40s and 50s. These are the people that were young
But
when the first Star Wars came out.
There is a whole group of people that know Star Wars only from Clone Wars, and that is a group of millions of kids.
Yeah.
Man.
I like the Clone Wars show though. Honestly, I think it's fun.
Yeah,
Because like I
that
said, it
Corbett
picked up
does
on
too.
the comics I was reading about Darth Maul and stuff, so it feeds in really well.
But yeah,
I guess
overall,
my
I
cousin's
think
just
it's
smarter
fucking
than the
bullshit.
average bear. He's like 9 and he just hated the new Star Wars movies. He just likes the old ones.
It's smart. Yeah,
Brought up
exactly.
right. Yeah.
Torrent Laserdisc, check it out.
Yo.
I wish I had a Laserdisc player and the actual original Laserdiscs. How awesome would those be?
Remember
They were the
those
size
in
of
school?
records, you know.
Holy God.
And I mean, it still took like 8 minutes to load. Like loading. They were like they use CD technology to play. Awesome. But yes, it is what it is. I guess Disney's going to take over the world. We're all going to go to hell.
They'll probably be annihilated by like some mobsters
Exactly.
hired by Disney.
Well, pretty soon China's going to buy Disney.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Yeah.
They'll own
We'll be
everything.
working for 30 cents an hour selling
Koozies
things on
together.
widgets. Yeah.
Yo. Good
All
local.
right.
Good local reference.
So now that we got all that Disney nonsense, I think it had to be addressed.
It did. We had to
So-
settle the beef.
Exactly, that
Yeah.
had to be addressed. Now let's talk about the comics, which are the first comic we're going to talk about. I don't think we have it up here.
No.
Is the New Mutants
Finale.
issue 50 final issue. It has been a run that has been pretty mediocre, but yet I've still bought every fucking issue.
And it finished mediocre, too.
No, it's finished actually on a pretty low note.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait for beer ratings.
Sad.
I better grab another one so we can make a visual.
Yeah, you were gonna have to, but honestly, New Mutants is something that's special to me and John. I think both of us a little bit. I mean, I loved New Mutants.
He has a
growing
man
up.
crush, yeah.
Cypher's my favorite X-Men.
Man crush.
They ended being total man crush. They totally have basis around Cypher for the last few issues. and I loved it. Since DNA took over, they've really done a badass job writing fucking New Mutants, and they took over about halfway through from Zeb Wells, where it was just like this huge change when they did the Age of X thing, and then after that it was all Mike Carey wrote that, and then after that it was all DNA writing the last probably 20 issues. And lately, the last 20 issues is their job is they finish up all loose ends. So, like, there's a bunch of loose story ends throughout mutant history. Imagine that, Marvel continuity, loose ends. And,
What do you mean when they're fighting their future selves
Yeah.
and jumping back and forth through time, to and fro,
Yeah.
this dimension and that?
Yeah.
Surprise, loose ends.
Loose ends, imagine. So that was their whole, that was like the, I don't know, mantra of this book.
What a shitty purpose for that team.
Yeah, and anyway, it just felt like this is just another book to get out there and to just do a cash grab on suckers like me who just will gonna buy ciphers in it. And I think I told John like 8 times I'm not buying this book anymore.
Yeah.
Got to the shop, bought it. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, guys. I
Yeah,
preach
okay.
against it, I still do it.
Man crush.
Habits are hard to break.
So what did you guys think of the final issue?
Just a mutant house party, which was kind of an interesting
That was
topic.
pretty funny.
To begin with, but other than that, I enjoyed the lettering. They had some interesting lettering for a lot of the people from completely different dimensions,
Yeah.
gods,
Yeah.
Mephisto,
Yeah.
a samurai. Really interesting lettering for all of them.
Yeah.
Kind of gives them a different voice, a different feel. But
Yeah.
other than that,
Yeah.
not impressed.
I'd have to agree, some of the house guests were just, it almost was kind of funny, to be honest. Open the door, there's 3 Valkyrie or whatever. Hope we're not overdressed and they're in their, like, traditional garments or whatever. Doctor Strange, the devil shows up, Mephisto, or whatever.
Yeah.
I like
Hits
that
on
part,
Moonstar.
actually.
And then the people just like announce, "Oh, hi, Doctor Strange and Mephisto." Like,
Yeah.
they didn't show up together, but that's how they
Yeah.
announce them all
Yeah.
as they come in. Which
Yeah.
the dialogue is
Yeah.
just really
I, to be
on
honest
that
with you,
basis.
this issue, it was rather comparable to the Wolverine and the X-Men, the newest one, because they were hiring for a new spot on the staff, and they were, Tom, you should have seen it, the page was in 9 squares, and there's different faces, like Ghost Rider, they're interviewing people to be a teacher, like, so Ghost Rider's like, burning motorcycle rage, next, and then it's like Puck and Sasquatch, that's why they were on that preview,
Nice.
because they were interviewing for, so it was this whole search, and they end up with Storm at the end, spoiler. But anyways, back to New Mutants, it's an element of humor, but to be honest with you, if this line wants to hold a candle to the previous line, like I look over at Tom's shelf right now and there's a New Mutants cover, they're old, you got the faces in the marble box on the left, artwork sexy as hell, classic, great line. But if this new series honestly wants to hold a candle and compliment it, it ain't working. It did not work at all. It was, to me, this issue was a thorough kick in the nuts. I don't know, dude, like, I was just really bummed because I did pick that up because I'm like, well, we'll see how it ends. I like the cover though, with the hands. You have fire, you have circuitry, and so forth. So that was neat just to see the differences there. But these characters deserve better.
Yeah.
Well, I just think that I actually thought the barbecue part was kind of fun. I get everybody together, have a little barbecue. I could see it happening in the Marvel universe. But then, like, it's so cliche. Like, oh, somebody breaks in here. Oh, it's somebody from the past. And, well, more Warlock, more techno stuff. More techno babble, and like go there again. And then it's like the last issue. They brought in Mephisto because he tried to date Magma earlier, or Karma.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so, like, that was the reason that he was there. And Doctor Strange was in there because they had the crossover with the Defenders or whatever, and that's why Doctor Strange showed up. And then, like, the landlady was there because she was there. Like, DNA really tried to tie their thing together in this, but it just didn't work. And then the art was just terrible. I hate this guy on art.
Who was it?
I don't even know his name. A lot of people say that he's trying to, like, channel Sienkiewicz for from the old original New Mutants, and I just think that's laughable because it's not even close to being the same quality. The story telling is terrible. Half the book is drawn by another guy, the second half by another guy, and I did not like it at all. And I'm going to go right into ratings here, and I totally gave this a 1 beer out of 6. And it pisses me off because I read this fucking thing for 50 issues, and then you leave me on this note of 1 beer with the shitty artist and the and I feel like writers that can't wait to get off of it. So
Yeah.
that's how I felt.
I read this issue only out of this run. I've not read any of the others, and I'm kind of reading through it. I've always thought I actually wrote for my college paper one time op-ed about partying with superheroes. It's a bad idea because all these crazy things will go wrong. You know, the Hulk will get pissed off and drunk and smash through the walls. You know, things like that. But because of that, I've always, kind of thought about that. That's kind of a cool basis. I'll have to give it 2 beers. But, yeah, the art threw me off. I think the lettering was decent, but then the story is kind of And they tried
it was nothing like this.
They tried to introduce they tried to bring back so many of the characters. And, yeah, it's a house party, but, your landlady, she's really going to show up in the party. Come on.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'm going to go ahead and go with the 1 beer rating on it. It was bad. Like, normally I try to be a Sally Sue Nancy, positive, whatever. But on this time, it's a reality check, guys. It was not good.
I agree.
At all. Yeah.
And it sucks, man. And I wish it was better. I wish we would have got something like this. I mean, look at this cover to this one. God, what a legendary issue of New Mutants.
What is that?
Retro comic book style. Too.
Oh, exactly. Well, this is Sienkiewicz. This is the guy who... I mean, the guy who's doing this cover is the cover that people said that guy was trying to harness.
Yeah.
Do you see a difference? Because I do. But yeah, so definitely not my cup of tea. But yeah, I mean, we all read it. Me and John both buy in, and we were like, Scott, you gotta read it. You gotta get the third opinion in there. And we were hoping maybe a person from who hasn't read the rest of the series was gonna like it, but obviously not.
No. It was that good.
Yeah. But other than that, I think John has some more books to talk to you people about. Go ahead, John.
Oh, dude. Right on. Well, first of all, I did just want to announce... Oh, I don't know about that. Not my intent this time. Maybe. Okay, you can do it. Yeah. Alright, so first of all, you guys, when I go shopping sometimes, I get this itch to do a little research. So, in my hand here, I have Uncanny X-Men number 299.
Noise.
And then 301 because I couldn't find 300. What's the similarity between these 2 issues? Well, it's kind of a little story arc, but I actually also proceeded to get 4 issues of Excalibur, 1 of New Warriors, and then I believe a couple of X-Force from back in the day. We're talking about the Games Master and his team, the Upstarts, which are a villain team based from the Hellfire Club. It's a boys' billionaire
John's
club
favorite.
kind of thing. Exactly. And the premise of the team is they kill mutants and they get points, and they're all competing against each other.
Nice.
So they go after all the young mutants like the X-Force, the Surviving Hellions, another one of my favorite teams, right? And then the New Warriors. So I've been reading a bunch of crossovers. I pulled Wikipedia up on my phone while I was at the shop. Didn't help at all, so I had to Google the shit out of this one to really see where it's such an unknown team, dude. I mean, have you heard of the Upstarts?
Of course not.
So, I mean, I remembered it vaguely, and it was from one of the card lines that they did, trading cards.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. So I was like, I'm gonna do a little homework on that. So I'm excited to read those. Do you want me just to go through them?
Yeah, do what you
Jump
want to
in
do,
when you
man.
can.
You talk what you want to talk about, man. Ooh.
John finally got his
That is a pretty looking graphic novel too. Only $10.
Yeah, very good price, you guys. Saga, the volume 1, and I'm so excited to read it. Loved issue 1. So I'm definitely excited to get my,
I know. I'm even thinking about just getting that trade just to borrow to people.
Yeah, because it's a great story. So not much to say at this point. I told you I like the first issue, so.
And I think we'll do a full show on Saga sometime.
Yeah. I did get the Batgirl annual because Catwoman was on it, obviously.
There's 3 ladies in leather on the cover. I don't know.
That really gets me going. Yeah. Oh man, John. Batgirl annual number 1. Kind of an interesting story with more Talons in it, etc. We all know that that's not going to go anytime soon, but they've been just deep roots in Gotham forever, so I wouldn't expect it to. If it did, that would suck. That was it. Centuries of planning. That's all you got. So it's interesting. Catwoman actually ends up turning herself in at the end, so Batgirl can get the Talon out of harm's way. She's actually just a very damaged mentally individual. At the end, she manages to write her name down on the floor in crayons or something. My name's Mary. So it shows that Talons can also have a personal side to it too, just like the Talons title is right now. I have issues 0 and 1. I think I have one. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read any of those yet.
It's okay. It's fun. So just another, DC shout out. I just saw Catwoman was on cover, and you guys know that me and her are gonna go shopping sometime. Up next here, I won't talk about that. We're gonna do that on another show.
You can show the cover and say I'm not gonna talk about that.
I'm not gonna talk about that till later. I got Santa Claus on the cover, and it's Happy issue 204. Image is bringing me nothing but goodness. I definitely wouldn't mind having some beers with some of these creators.
Yeah, but it's a little too early for Christmas. So.
Yeah, and we're talking about
after Thanksgiving.
That's a 4-issue miniseries, so we will be doing a full show on that.
It'll be amazing. Guys, I got Bedlam #1. I actually saw Mark from Fat Stack of Comics on Facebook was saying he needs to either obtain a copy or something. I think his shop was out. I don't know. So I picked it up, actually, before we even saw that. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I picked that up. And I was looking through my stack. I'm like, yeah, I did. I see Image in #1, and I'm like, check.
Yep.
I haven't read the full thing yet, but I like what I see so far.
And Nick Spencer, Riley, I just want to quick go on there.
Yeah.
Nick Spencer, Riley Rossimo, Fraser Irving. I mean, it's a huge team here that's going to be putting this out, and I also picked that up.
Yeah.
Great issue.
Yeah. Finally, I haven't read this particular issue yet, but Fashion Beast #3. 1 and 2 were awesome. Ellen Moore's on the helm of this one here. I like it a lot. It's sassy, it's witty. You got gays, you got bisexuals, you got transvestites. It's just such a crazy.
That is a
and
really
Alan Moore is
cover.
very sexual in his writing in his later life, and
Yeah.
I really do like that.
I love it.
Also, this is developed from a unwritten screenplay that Alan Moore wrote a screenplay for a movie, and then it was never made into a movie, and so they're adapting it into a comic book series instead.
Smart. That's really smart.
So yeah,
I like it though. Seriously, Ellen Moore, if you want to have coffee sometime, give me a call.
That's to borrow the rum of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then I picked up,
how's Chew going?
Oh yeah, I'm powering through,
Oh, that's only a little
Strong.
over a year.
Strong.
Read one trade.
Not yet.
But Tom, he's too busy
I
doing
didn't
our
get it till
videos.
like Christmas last year.
This guy.
I got episodes to crank out, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking spending all his time reproducing our goddamn episodes. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good, dude. Other than that, like Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah.
The usual. So.
Yeah, dude, that's a great run.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else you want to talk about? If not, I'll close her down.
Let's bring it down.
Bring it
to the house.
All right, guys. Well, you know us. We're a comic book look. Thanks again for watching. Please send us your show ideas and email shows, just like we got Sergeant America to
America.
Mike.
Humble.
Busted.
And we're gonna, we answered his email, so please keep us sending us more questions, and then also show ideas at a comicbooklook@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Hit up us all just go to our Twitter, and you can usually find the rest of us there. A Comic Book Look is our handle. And then every single Tuesday night, InveterateMediaJunkies.com. That's where we debut these shows. So hopefully that's where you're watching from. If you're catching from YouTube later, check out our channel, see them all. But also head over to Inveterate Media Junkies.
You get them sooner.
You get them sooner. You get them all laid out right in front of you really nicely. And also other great content. Please be checking out John's after-hours shows. He's, putting in the legwork, doing awesome indie creator interviews. If you are an indie creator, and you have a really good comic that you feel confident about, we can take a look. And if it is something that we enjoy or something worth talking about, John can always get back to you. So hit us up with if you are interested in that. And other than that, I guess I do capsule reviews.
Right, I was going to say, you can't forget yourself.
Inveterate Media Junkies. That comes out every Sunday as well. So, yeah. Other than that, guys.
Money bags.
I think we're at that end.
Alright, you guys. Well, anyways, we look forward to continuing to bring you the hottest show on YouTube. You guys know the drill. Hit us up on email, Twitter, Facebook. We're here to please. Have a good rest of your week there. Let us know what you're reading this week. Get interactive. And as always, keep it comics.
A Comic Book Look cannot be held responsible for any physical or psychological injuries as a result of watching a comic book look.